Guys, what's up? This is Ricky Rat, the feral, rabid cousin of Mickey Mouse. It's a custom figure that I painted, and I'm going to show you how. Thumbs up, check it out. Toy Insanity here with your daily dose of toys. Here's a custom idea that I've had for a while. Should be pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Alright, so I wanted to turn this Halloween rat into Mickey Mouse. Mickey Rat. So I'll kind of walk you through my intention, and then, you know, I don't have a setup where I can show you intricate brush strokes and such, but I'll add different stages to this. I don't know. It might not turn out well. The video might not turn out well. The figure might not even turn out well. But I think I'm going to spray paint his face white. I'm going to spray paint the other areas white that need a primer on this black plastic. In other words, his bottom half is going to be painted red for his shorts. But I'll go ahead and spray paint it white as a primer. Then I'm going to spray paint his hands also, this hand that's going upwards. Alright, so after the white on those areas, I'm going to do yellow on the feet, red on his bottom, and leave the white on his face and his hands. So I know he wears shoes and he wears gloves, but I'm going to kind of just I'm not going to mold any kind of ramen noodles onto his feet and hands to make shoes and gloves. I'm just going to make fierce looking shoe type things. I hate the bottom of this figure where it comes together real fat on the bottom. That's probably going to end up looking weird. And at some point I might trim up the flashing where the seams come together in the mold, right where my thumb is, going across the top of his head. Trim those up with an X-Acto knife or a hot knife. I don't know. Should be pretty straightforward. So spray paint is only the white, and then I'm going to brush paint the other colors. And here's a little Mandela effect. I kind of, in my head, I thought Mickey had suspenders, but he's just got these shorts. He's just got shorts, gloves, shoes, no shirt. He's got shorts covering up his big old belly. But Mickey Rat custom figure coming right up. Stay tuned. BRB, thumbs up. Bye. Alright, so I spray painted white anywhere color is going to go. The red and the yellow and the white of his face. Probably going with a nice 1930s style Mickey Mouse with the white face. You know, since the late 30s they've given him kind of that Caucasian tan face. I don't know, I might end up doing that color. I really should trim those flashings, they're annoying me. But that's it. Little minor intermediate step, and as you can see there's a lot. It covered up, the spray paint covered up a lot of the black, so I'm going to end up painting. It's going to be 100% painted, so anything on Mickey that is black, I'm going to brush paint on with black. I use Testors acrylic. It used to be called Acryl. Comes in these little bottles. It's just acrylic paint. Do not use enamel on action figure plastic because it will always have a perpetual stickiness. But that's it. That's the step. Be right back with some color. Alright, so here's Mickey Mouse. Or is it Ricky Rat? I've added as you can see, the red, the yellow, and the black on top of where all the white had been. Colored his ears, nose. The next step is detail work with toothpicks, and then of course I'm going to give it a nice black wash to help you know, pull those colors together, make it look real cool and lifelike. I still want to trim some more on those flashings. And the color you see in the mouth is, you know, not finished. Probably all the color you actually see will be covered up. I just used, you know, a dry brush technique with the paint that was left on the brush for the yellow and the red. Just threw a little color in there. for this portion of the video. I've decided to make the hands and the feet, you know, despite his gloves and shoes, I just want him to look bony. Like he's got bony yellow feet and bony white hands. It's going to look fierce. And of course the eyes are going to be the last, you know, the last item, the last portion, the last place to get detail. That's it for now. Catch you in the next segment. All right, another update on Rickey Rat. Now, at first glance, you might not think much has changed since the last segment, but the most important thing is I trimmed the flashing around the hands. You can see they're cleaned up really well. The teeth, the feet. I trimmed some of the mold lines. Just took an X-Acto knife. The ones on the back, I didn't care too much about, but the mold line going right down the top of his face and nose and teeth, I trimmed that up really well. Everything's had a second coat of paint, and I went ahead and painted the inside of the mouth, the tongue, and the teeth the way that I wanted. What's left to do now is a really nice black wash on the entire body, and I'll probably do a red wash around the eyes and the mouth, and then of course paint the details on the eyes. That's about it. Toy Insanity, Rickey Rat. See you in the next little segment. All right. So the way it looks right now is probably a surprise to you, but this is how I like to do a black wash. I do it thoroughly, and then I'll actually use a bit of brush cleaner to take it off. But I use the cheap stuff. This is like 80 cents a bottle, and just a foam brush. Water it down just a little bit so it gets in all the texture, all the details. And I really want it thick where the colors meet, where there's any kind of indentation. And then I'm going to remove it because the cheap stuff and it's thinner. I also go for the matte to dull out some of the gloss of the colors of the, you know, acrylic paint. So this is just cheap, thin, cheap acrylic. But it should work out well. At this point, you might have even asked yourself one thing: what about the buttons? So Mickey Mouse has 2 white buttons on his front of his shorts and 2 yellow buttons on the back. Well, I do have a plan for those. Stay tuned. All right. Excuse me. At least 3 things are different here. First of all, I removed my black wash as much as I wanted to, which turned out to be more than I wanted to, because I believe I hadn't given the underlying paint long enough to dry. So when I put on the little bit, you know, just applying to a rag a little bit of brush cleaner, it ended up taking, so it would make the black paint supple and the white paint underneath supple. So it kind of smeared into a gray in a lot of places. And then on the bottom, it took off too much of the red. So it took off the black, the red, and then into the white. So I can fix it, and as you can see, I've already done so on his left side. The way I fix it, and this is the second thing, is I'm applying what's it called, a dry brush. So I hadn't anticipated doing so much dry brush technique, but his left hip, left hand, and left foot, that's exactly what I was going for. And a lot of work still has to be done on the right side, and a ton of work, more work than I ever anticipated, needs to be done on the face. And the third new thing are these buttons. I got them on the front and the back. These were created with a wood-burning tool. This is simply an O in the alphabet. You heat this up. I do think they are a good size. In hindsight, I would have dropped them a little lower on the front. But my idea, I don't know if I explained this, I kind of like the idea that it's ambiguous. You don't know if he's wearing shorts or if that's just part of his fur color. So in the case of the buttons, you don't know if they're buttons or if there's some kind of flesh wound, some kind of festering boil. So the next thing is I'm going to get those painted up, finish the dry wash all over at this point. Not a dry wash, a dry brush. And then, you know, I hate that I had his widow's peak perfect. So I got to redo that. A little more work than anticipated, but I'm not unhappy with it. I do still think it's going to turn out very nice. All right, BRB. All right, Rickey Rat is done. Finished painting. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Took a little longer than expected, but I definitely like the end result. I even like the buttons. I like that they're part of the sculpt and not something glued on or just something painted on. I think they turn out really well, and they definitely seem like sores, wounds, something kind of gross to fit in with this guy's deranged aesthetic. Of course, I signed it. Here's the buttons on the back. And there it is. We done. Rickey Rat, Toy Insanity. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for watching the whole video. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.